I grew up confused about my culture and identity and felt out of place most of the time until I found comedy, which forced me to be honest with myself, and I realized mostly I'm just an expat brat. Welcome to my show. I'm Salman Qureshi. All right, people. I'm back fresh after finding out that AI technology can now duplicate my voice, and it's crazy at the level it can. I don't know if you guys have tried this stuff out yet, but I have this friend, a comic Fred, not a comic Fred, like a friend whose name happens to be Fred. I don't know what I'm doing today. He takes me through this app that you upload someone's voice to, like a few voice samples, and then you can dictate it to speak on like the person. And I know I've seen some before that where like you can always tell it's a robot, like it's robotic. But this one, oh my God, it was. If he hadn't told me that was an AI recorded thing, actually he didn't initially. He just made me listen to it, and I thought it was a normal message, just another message from the guy's voice that we a friend, another friend of ours. Um, it was crazy, man. It matched. It was like the dude was speaking himself, and this is so messed up. Like the accuracy of it, the pauses, the ums, everything. You know, this new technology just kind of. I forgot what was the name of the website. I've told him to send it to me because I'm totally planning to. If my wife doesn't listen to my podcast, I'm totally planning to pull some pranks on her and just go, hey, but you told me this is fine. Look, this is your voice note. um, it's crazy. It is absolutely insane. If you haven't seen it or heard it, rather, then I'm sure if you just Google it, you'll find couple of different websites that do it. Actually, it's not. There's this other friend of mine in the states, and he had uploaded a video on one of his socials a few months back. I think about 4 or 5 months back, and in that he's speaking. So the one I saw yesterday was just audio, right? Uh, he was speaking, like it was a shot of him talking, and it took me a while. It was actually because I read his post, what he describes it, and I realized, oh shit, it's not him. No, actually, sorry. In the video, he actually says, "Listen, I was on this Zoom call, and people were asking as a joke, like, is this you, or is it like an AI thing?" And that time it was me, but this time it's not, right? And so I was like, whoa, wait, what? And I realized only after he said that did I realize, yeah, oh yeah, I can tell like a little bit that this is AI generated. Not so much from the voice. The voice was like spot on again, you know, the audio dubbing. The video, there was just something about it that was like, okay, yeah, it's not 100% yet. But I had to kind of, you know, look deeper to realize that. That's the crazy part about it. and as he's speaking, he starts speaking in different languages. He's speaking in Mandarin, he's speaking in Hindi, and it's accurate. I mean, he's speaking in Urdu, so you know I can understand that, so I know that's accurate. I don't know about the Mandarin, I'm sure it is too, but the Urdu was spot on. It wasn't even like you know, overly formal, unused kind of Shakespearean style of language. It was spot on, like how a person would speak casually. You know, just the day to day kind of slang, and I was shocked because it was in his voice as well. So the dude was speaking. He doesn't actually speak these languages, just in case you didn't catch on to that. Um, and that was insane. So I saw that, and then yesterday I saw the audio, and then my friends dubbed one of my videos into me speaking Mandarin as well, and it was more of a dubbing thing, so you can tell it's dubbed, but it was still in my voice, and everyone I showed it to said, "Oh, dude, this is your voice, spot on, like spot on." It's crazy. So this whole new technology, um, I don't know what this is going to lead to. I know there's this exciting part of me. All I think about is like, cool, let's play some pranks. That's that's the level of intelligence I'm at, man. That I apologize, but that's my immediate thought. I was like, how do I use this for a bit of fun and comedy? And I'm sure there are people trying to put it to better use or something. But there's this whole dangerous side. Like, how do you know? How do you know that voice note someone plays to you isn't, you know, and they go, hey, listen, this is what they told me. and how do you keep checking if it is that person or not? And I'm assuming right now there must be ways to detect that this is an AI generated voice, or if it isn't, we need to, because where does how does this play into evidence in the court or even in day to day stuff like at work and everything? Um, I'm just I'm like this is so interesting. It all leads to I think the rise of Terminator, and it's inevitable. It doesn't matter how much we warn them through movies and stuff. People just march towards their own death, and so here we are. We're on the brink of the dawn of the Terminator. I don't know what you call it. Is it where are we on the timeline anyway? Is it going to be T1 or T2? Um, Judgment Day? I don't know. I don't know. And obviously, we need to find that white savior, John Connor. I just, I just realized that. Oh dear. Okay, so that sorry, I just went off on a like not on a tangent. That I just this was on my mind, man. This is just so crazy. It's on my mind. But if you got some thoughts on like how this will play out, if you're 10 times smarter than yeah, you don't have to be 10 times smarter than me. If you're at any level of intelligence above, I should use this for a prank, then tell me what good is this stuff? I don't know, man. I'm like I don't want to sound like an old dude going, this is too much power in the hands of the people. And who knows how long this stuff has been around. I'm gonna go all conspiracy theory on you guys right now. But what if this technology, it's safe to assume, I think, that it might have been around already and we might have seen and done things to justify war. Hey, you trust those guys? I mean, we still catch them out over things. How the hell is this going to work, man? Oh my lord! And so many uneducated people believe voices and stuff. Um, I'm being pretty negative about this. For 5 minutes, I was quite excited about it. I was like, "This is gonna be great. I'll do better comedy. I'll use it in my comedy. Maybe like open various kind of techniques and ways to do things, make it more exciting. Use technology, blah blah blah." And in 5 minutes, I'm like, "Oh, we dead. We're done for." That's what it seems like to me right now. The more I talk about it, maybe if I don't talk about it, it won't happen, right? Yeah. All right. I've also I've had one of my I don't know if anyone else in the world is using Threads except for the people um, liking my comments. I usually get nothing, and I spoke about this tipping thing, and all these people have like jumped on it. It's quite funny. Everyone's like jumped on it. It's a true story. Look, I'll tell you what it was. It's a true story. I've been seeing a lot of like tipping stories going around. I always find it funny in the States that it's such a big thing. And then I came across like some crazy stories about like it's not just happening in restaurants, but in weird places where you shouldn't have to tip, like even self checkout places and stuff. I don't know how true that is. It must be happening, but my crazy tipping story was I was one of the first times I've been to New York, and I'm with my brother-in-law and my sister, and we catch lunch at this Chinese restaurant. All right, ethnicity has nothing to do with this. I'm not trying to make that a point, but just to give you a background, it's like a Chinese restaurant, good food. We have the food. We're about to leave. Now, listen, my background, I grew up in the Middle East. There's no fixed tipping culture. You throw a few dirhams or reals or dollars, whatever it is, into into the in with the rest of the cash, right? You don't sit there and go percentage. You just feel like it's very loose. You don't even have to. There's no real tipping culture, but if you did, you would do that, right? No one really sits there and goes, oh, 15%, 20%, whatever the hell that is. And and lucky for us, all these people from the West have come and gone. Hey, we should tip a certain percentage. Anyway, so we're at this restaurant. We finish food, um, and we do our thing. We leave a little bit on top, and we're walking out, and this woman chases us out. Right? She follows us, and she's quite aggressive. Yeah, she's like, "Hey, hey, 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 what's this extra money?" And we're like, "Is she here to return it? Because they don't accept tips or something like that. That's the first thought that goes through my mind. Actually, the first thought was like, oh my God, I did something wrong. She's about to kung fu me. So wrong. Anyway, um, and my brother-in-law goes, It's a tip for you guys. You can keep it." And she goes, "No, if it's a tip, it has to be 20%." And we're looking at each other. We're just shocked. We've never had anything like this happen before. We didn't know what the how strict the tipping culture is, or even I at that time I was. This is quite pre-social media as well, so I think I genuinely I didn't know anything about what the etiquettes of tipping culture is. I don't agree with it anyway, but for now, I'll just deal with the fact that she said that, and we were so taken aback that we we gave the extra amount, going, "Oh, sorry, how much more do we need to give?" But when I look back at it, I was like, "This is insane." Now, a lot of people on that post are saying you didn't have that's not a norm, and that is beyond what anyone should. At the same time, other people have shared similar stories, not necessarily at a Chinese restaurant, like Italian, whatever. It doesn't matter. They go, "Hey, this happened to us too." The waiter or the owner or whatever chases down and said, "Hey, it should be this much." Majority said it. No one does that. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the deal was back then, and I don't know what the deal is now. But a tipping culture exists that is insane. I've always been against tips. I just think it's a scam, right? I paid what I was supposed to, and this isn't about being cheap. I don't know what it is. I think we need to fix this. All right, we can't. I don't want to be complicit with this thing. And so, it's the weirdest thing. It's so strong over there, but it allows people to just continue to give low wages and expect us to foot the rest of their paycheck. It to me it just sounds crazy. And I don't know how Americans still go along with it. I know if you're in the service industry, it's not it's crap. But recently, I think the minimum wage has been raised. I know it's still not great. I get it, but still, this whole tipping thing, it's got to go, man. It doesn't make sense. I don't think anyone should be tipped. In fact, there's a restaurant here in Dubai. It's an Indian restaurant, and I've seen it in a couple of places now, apart from that one. And when you finish eating, the first couple of times I went, I tried tipping, and the first time they said no, and I thought, oh, weird. I didn't really catch on. The second time I did, and the guy said, no, we don't take tips. And I was like, hey, that's great. You guys are paid a proper wage, hopefully, and there's no culture of tips. Wonderful. I don't have to feel obliged to pay extra after I've already been charged money for the food and service. It just, I'm so glad. And I just consciously don't do it. It's still, there are times when I'm just I try to be nice about things with people. And sometimes I just go, hey, don't do this to me. Don't do this. Come on. I hate, so please, for people like us who are, it's not passive. We're trying to get along with the world. Don't put us in these hot spots, man. Don't be aggressive. Just let us be. I don't want to pay a tip. I don't want to. And for my sake and for people like me, I just wish we'd end this culture of tipping so we don't feel pressure to do it. All right? So can we all agree? Can you all just we need to create this movement of everyone just going no more tips. All right? No more tips. We don't do tips. We don't give extra money. There is no need to give extra money. We are, mind you, now that I say it, I once had this employee from CNN. Yeah, she was based in Dubai, and then she was moving back to the States or whatever. And if I'm not mistaken, she was a reporter. I don't know her name. I didn't know her too well from here. Either she was on the team of writers or reporter. Regardless, I did this stand-up show with another friend, and she walks up to us after the gig and tips us 500 dirhams. That's about $150 roughly for us. Just out of like, she's like, hey, it was great to see comedy happening here. This is quite way back when comedy was still new in Dubai, and the two of us were like, awesome, man. I I loved it when the tip was a surprise. So I'm not I'm not against you tipping completely if it's tipping me. But in general, it shouldn't be an expectation. I didn't go in there going, I'm gonna get a tip, and I didn't make that a expectation. Then I don't go into shows and go, hey, she tipped me once. All of you, all the rest of you audience member, y'all better be tipping me now. I don't have that expectation. Neither should you. Okay, if it comes, it's a nice little thing, a nice little gift. Good for you. All right, now that we've got that settled, there's another thing that I'm really annoyed with companies. This is, I have this pet peeve of like particularly recently, of companies sending this survey of like, hey, how was our service today after you have had a chat with them or been on the phone with them. And it bugs me. It bugs me when it's like, I didn't ask to do this. I didn't tell you that I want to give feedback back to you, right? And this whole feedback thing, why should I give any feedback to you? It's like I paid you for a service, and then now I have to do more work for your sake, I know it's voluntary, but you shoved it into my inbox. All right, you shoved it into my phone, mobile text messages. Sometimes it's on WhatsApp now as well. God, like it's so intrusive, right? It's like it just pops up and go, "Hey, how we do?" And so I get so annoyed about these things. I have a simple rule: if it's sent without my consent, if there are a few, mind you, there are a few who send it or rather at the end of the call or just before the call they say, look, we're going to send you a survey if you want, if you are okay with. Actually, no, even that doesn't make sense. You can't give me like it's not, it should be like, if you want to, you can. No, I'm confusing this. Yeah, basically what I'm saying, there's some companies that have the courtesy to go, listen, if you don't mind giving some feedback, then just press one and we'll send you a message. And if you don't want to, cool, just hang up, right? But very few do that. Most of them just send this email message thing across. And I made a rule, and this sounds mean, but I think what they're doing is meaner. If I get sent something like that unsolicited, I just rate it at the lowest things possible. I just mess it up. I No, it's the truth, because even if I had a good interaction up until then, you've messed it up by sending you spoiled it. It's like it's like this thing my chemistry teacher once said to me. I was in eighth grade or ninth grade, and he goes, I'll never forget this. He goes, and I was like, hey, someone in the class was like, hey, my answer was right. I just added this little bit, and you've marked it wrong. And he says, look, if I give you a can of Pepsi, you all want to drink it, right? And we're all like, yeah, of course. And he goes, if I drop, if I pour a drop of urine into it, just a drop, less than a drop of urine into it, would you still want to drink it? And we all, we all just went, yuck. And but he's like, well, that's the thing. That's all it takes. And I was like, oh my God, that blew my mind. I don't know if it makes complete sense now, and I can't believe he used that example on us. But that's what I'm talking about with this whole thing gone sour. So you may have given me good service up until now, but you did that, and now everything is bad. And the other problem with these things is that they're always like they're always just like terrible questions, sometimes not relevant, and you have to go through some like I'm trying to read it and go, well, how am I supposed to score this interaction on this stupid scale, or this question it's not asking the right question. And I'm like, all of this is eating up my brain power, because it's not my job for you to figure out how your service is. Yeah, I said it. It shouldn't be on us, the client, the customers who are paying you enough to do this on your own spare time. All right, not on my spare time. You should do it. You figure this out. And it's not that hard. It's not that hard. You know what? You record all the calls. Everybody's recording the emails and the calls and the live chats. That's all recorded. Yeah? It's all recorded. You pay these managers lots of money, right? They've still got a job until AI figures out we don't need them. But as long as you guys have these, yeah, what you got to do is you got to put those guys into use. Make them listen to these messages and these recordings and stuff, and then they can kind of go, hey, Kevin, listen, I heard your call that with our customer, Abdullah, and it sounded like it sounded like you still think Pakistan is a colony of the UK. So how about you sound less racist and just be polite to all the customers equally? Yeah, that's what the manager needs to do. Okay, shit like that. Just figure it out. Just go through the calls. It's not that hard. You'll figure out how dumb and idiotic these messages are, and how little, especially in this part of the world, how little you give them space to make decisions. You empower them, how little you empower them. And that's why these calls and frustrations pop up. So if you just sort that stuff out, if you listen to it yourself, make these managers do it, then I don't have to get involved with my time and my brain power. All right? You do it. You do it. Stop this nonsense. It just pisses off customers. All right. I think I made my point about this, about how much it frustrates me and how much it annoys me. And I'm telling you, join my revolution. Join my revolution against the tips, and join my revolution against surveys, and just destroy this system from within. All right, we got to band together. We just got to destroy. If we all start scoring everything, no matter how well it went, just score everything low. Right? They'll stop asking us. They'll be like, we can't continue with these things. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. That's all the built up frustrations in my life right now that I've just dumped into this podcast. If you've been listening this whole time, I appreciate it, and I hope you take something valuable from it, because there's nothing good on Netflix at the moment, and there's nothing good on most of the podcasts. There's just repetitive self-help podcasts nowadays. There's nothing good on any of the channels I have, man. And so it's summer, and we're gonna be locked in a lot more. So let's do something more productive. You do what I've told you, and the world will be a better place. All right, folks. I gotta bounce. This has been really fun for me, for for letting off some steam, but it's been great. Life's great otherwise, and I hope you guys have a great time until the next episode. Take care. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for joining us on another adventure with the Expat Brat, proudly brought to you by Capra Productions. If you enjoyed the show, please help us keep the mic running by clicking the link in the description and dropping as little as $3 to support us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest episodes.